Hardware and software in this video were provided as part of the Meta Quest Creator Program.
Hey folks, welcome to another VR video. Today we're checking out some titles that could have been the future of virtual reality and still can be. So here we are in World 1 of Proton Pulse Plus. And this was the first real true VR game I ever played. It came out initially for the Oculus DK1, the first developer kit, which was made prior to Oculus being acquired by Facebook, which is now Meta. And as you can see, it's really just head tracking or gaze detection that moves your paddle along here. And it's a fascinating game. I first played it on the Google Cardboard. But like I said, this was part of Oculus Share, one of the really cool collected application sites for the Oculus Rift Developer Kit. Now in March of 2014, Oculus was acquired by Facebook. That is an anniversary that we're celebrating this month. 10 years of Meta owning Oculus. And one of the first things that Meta did when they purchased Oculus was kind of start stifling some of this developer creativity. Games like Proton Pulse began and were promoted actively on Oculus Share. And Oculus Share was quickly shut down when the consumer Oculus Rift was released. So no longer would you be able to find this collection of demos, sometimes freeware, sometimes links to purchase games. You would have to go through the storefront that Meta controlled to purchase titles. Now, it was all well and good for games like Proton Pulse. Proton Pulse was one of the early titles that was available on the official Oculus storefront as well. But many titles were lost to the ages at that time. And, you know, archive.org is good for those of us that have old Oculus developer kits. You can still play some of these titles, some of these early games. But many were lost to history because of that decision to just get rid of Oculus Share with no replacement. At this point, the app lab for the Meta Quest platform is a bit similar, but not exactly the same as what Oculus Share was. It allows developers to experiment a bit, but there are still regulations, whereas Oculus Share was pretty much the Wild West. So one of the Rift's early titles was Proton Pulse. But when it came time for the standalone platform, the Oculus Quest, Proton Pulse was in development, the full port was completed. The developer presented it to the folks at Meta and was basically shut down. They said that for the Quest platform, they were looking for only new titles. So this game, this extremely future-thinking, easily accessible title that could be played on basically any virtual reality platform just by moving your head, essentially disappeared off the face of the earth. It was available for the PlayStation VR. It's still available on Steam for the HTC Vive. I think it's been delisted at this point on the Rift platform. Not that anyone really uses the Rift platform anymore, unfortunately. And of course, not available for the Quest directly. I am playing this right now using Virtual Desktop. Again, one of the early pioneers of virtual reality. Created software that would allow you to share your full PC desktop or watch 3D movies on this new developer kit called the Oculus Rift. And that particular software did eventually come as a Oculus Quest launch title. And one of the things that unlocked was the power for the Quest or the Oculus Go to stream from a PC, just like I'm doing right now, actually. And again, the folks at Meta made probably not the best decision and said, you know, you can't have that ability. We're working on that type of ability. And, you know, it's against the rules of our platform, essentially. And they made it so that the only way that you could use the PC streaming ability from Virtual Desktop was to essentially sideload it, which meant that you'd have to have some form of a developer account and jump through a bunch of hoops just to get functionality that could very easily have just been available in the application from the store itself. Now eventually Meta yielded, and they allowed Virtual Desktop to still exist, but only after they created their own very similar software called Oculus Link. And with Oculus Link, the software was free, whereas Virtual Desktop had a price. I still find Oculus Link to be slightly inferior in a lot of ways to the capabilities and the streaming experience of Virtual Desktop, which is why I still use Virtual Desktop on a regular basis. But I have to wonder, what would have happened if Oculus had never been acquired by the folks at Facebook? We have had a quality 10 years of virtual reality now. More than that, if you count the original Oculus DK1 that came out about a year prior. But would the worlds of virtual reality have flourished differently if Oculus had remained an independent company? What would the future have held? Would Valve, the folks that ended up partnering with HTC for the HTC Vive, and then later creating their own Valve Index, would they have become a bigger partner with Oculus? They were already adding Steam VR to work with the original Rift developer kits. Would Sony have still been a contender with PlayStation VR? Would PC VR still be technically the best means to play virtual reality? Would standalone even be as advanced as it is today? These are all questions that I have. And for me, the one thing that is the biggest drawback with the decisions that Meta has made in virtual reality has been the lack of preservation of the history, even of their own company, in this space. And they almost stifle the creativity of developers with some of their restrictions. Like, this game is right now probably the biggest hit on the Apple Vision Pro, a $3,500 device, when it played on the Google Cardboard, a device that you could basically make out of a box. And Meta didn't want anything to do with it when it came time for the Oculus Quest to release. And this is just the first of a few games we're going to be playing in this video, where these were the future. And I'm not sure that that path is still as clear as it was once playing these games. For me, 8 or 9 years ago. For the first time. So in 2016, the first time I really had access to the Oculus Rift, the CV1 consumer version, was at GDC, at a Oculus Community Day party, which was hosted at the time by Oculus's owners, Facebook. And there were 2 titles that were shown off, Eve Valkyrie and this game, Eve Gunjack. And these 2 titles were outstanding. You're going to see this one in just a moment here. This one was actually presented on the Samsung Gear VR, which you just placed a phone into and magic happened. You'll see in a moment how this game works. On the Gear VR, there was a little touchpad.
Sensor buoys are tracking multiple craft in your sector.
But here, we're just moving our head and firing. And the fact that we're moving our head makes this immersive. This is really cool. It's like playing Space Invaders, but in a manner so we're gonna shoot some lasers at this guy. There we go. Knocked him out. All right, here we go. But at this point, while this was 2016, not that long ago, there's no Gear VR as a platform anymore. In fact, as I was alluding to earlier, there's really not even a Rift as a platform anymore. Everything is now on the mostly standalone Quest platforms. And at least from the perspective of standalone hardware, while there are other choices in the market, there are tons of infrastructure pieces within Meta's ecosystem where there is the biggest selection. They are definitely the folks with the biggest selection of titles available in virtual reality today.
Grab boost free to protect yourself from enemy fire.
Reload when they're down. Take this guy out. So there's a mission completed.
Or would if we were in the army and this was, well, legal.
In Eve Gunjack. Now, Eve Gunjack, like I said, came out around the same time as Eve Valkyrie. Two stellar titles, extremely good graphics, very immersive experiences, and both essentially dead at this point. This game, again, never came out on MetaQuest. The online servers where you could have that high score on a leaderboard are gone. Eve Valkyrie was completely authenticated online and is now unplayable. And that legacy, that look back, that window into the past is gone. We're going to jump to another title now. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but this is Stormland, one of the greatest games to come out on PC VR.
There's been no response for a while, so I'm using my portable unit to triangulate incoming gamma signals.
Right. Fine, just come by my station when you want the upgrade.
So they want me to go over here to get an upgrade. And this game was made with Insomniac Games, which were later acquired by Sony.
You see that? Vesper, check it out. Looks like a regular arm, right? But watch. A shield. A shield built right into the arm. I'm gonna call it okay, well, I'm still working on a name. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. Still getting the kinks out a bit. It's this new alloy you found. Weird stuff. Powerful, adaptive, and almost has a mind of its own. Never seen anything like it. I'll keep experimenting. See what else I can make with it.
So he's disappeared. We're basically playing back memories at this point in the game. But this character right here is helping us to remember.
Vesper, Riggs, Cypher, come over here quick. Look at this.
That's it? A plant growing in the mod station? Here, I'll clear it out for you.
No, leave it. It's not just growing in the casing. It's actually fusing with the circuitry itself.
All the more reason to clear it out.
Riggs, something incredible.
So as you can see, these four robots here are friends. There's a full storyline. It's about a 10-hour gameplay loop that's basically the tutorial for what was a giant 7-day event that would recycle every 7 days. Stormland is a unique game. It's beautiful. It's got this great story. It's got a ton of great gameplay mechanics. It's both a shooter and an exploration game. And again, mostly gone at this point. And that legacy is what I'm worried about. I don't want virtual reality's legacy to fade away.
Want to see something? Remember that strange plant you found? The one growing right out of an alloy deposit? Well, I planted it right over here. And now look at it. Super weird, right? It's probably just a reaction to my bioelectric field, but I don't know. I had Riggs try it, and nothing happened. But wait, it gets weirder. When the bud first opened, a seed popped and drifted toward me. It lodged right here. It almost felt intentional, like the seed wanted to be closer to me. Then the seed sprouted, and the plant just keeps getting bigger. I don't think it's dangerous, exactly, but I have a weird feeling that it's more than just a plant somehow. What do you think? Should I go to the gardens and ask Eco?
You were close to them, weren't you? I didn't mean to sound surprised. Of course you were. There is one last memory I need you to see. It was your last one before base camp was destroyed. Go to the base camp gate when you are ready.
So before we go to the base camp gate, I want to mention Stormland is how I really connected with the folks at Oculus. I met Jason Rubin and some of the folks that helped work with other content creators at an event to celebrate the launch of this game, Stormland. So all of these games have personal touch points for both myself and Oculus. And how I've connected to
Do you
the
hear that?
now
Yeah.
Meta Quest
Was
brand.
that thunder?
And underneath that, there are voices. Vesper, stay back. There's something wrong.
There it is again. Might be an Arcus?
It's not an Arcus. It's not from here.
What is that? Everyone back!
So that flower seed now went into my chest. But yes, this game is what brought me into the original Oculus creator program before there was an ambassador program, before there was a Quest creator program. And I will forever look back on those moments and those days. I got to go interact with friends at Oculus Connect 5. I got to go to PAX East and represent the Oculus brand. And now I'm a huge contributor to what is the Quest Creator Program. A group of creators who are just as passionate about not just preserving virtual reality history, but making it better for the future. And I'm excited to be a part of that community, and I'm excited for what the future may be. So we go over here, we can actually go out into the Stormland. I just want to do this so that you can see how cool it is to kind of soar over the clouds. Almost made me feel like Superman in this game.
See that tower? The humans called it the Spire. Some of them thought it was older than the planet Avalon itself. It was the reason they came here. They thought it held some mystery. Perhaps the Tempest are here for the same reason.
So to find the signal source,
No Tempest at the landing site, at least. I'm uploading the coordinates of the signal to your compass. Just remember, if Nyx is there, the Tempest will be too. To take on the Tempest, you'll need any tactical advantage you can get. I advise you to collect alloy and fabricate upgrades at the workbench. These may
you
save
can make
your
guns
life.
here.
The Stormland has a range of unique and curious alloys that grow from the ground and exist in no other place. I've updated your index with additional data. Look around the area for alloys. If you see any, try shattering it with your hand laser.
Check this out. Look at that. I feel like Superman. I really do. As we glide from island to island here over these clouds. It's so cool. And of course, right now, before we start combat,
Equipment in this stratum before the Tempest struck. I haven't been able to reach them since the attack, but their equipment may still be functioning. I've marked their last known locations on your compass. Good. Keep collecting alloy whenever you see it. You'll find different forms of it growing in each stratum of the Stormland. Look at the back of your left hand to check your compass. It shows the location of the
You can
signal
see
we're
you
tracking.
can climb here. Just like that. It's so well done. Different ways to get alloy. Blasting the rocks, blasting the crates. And eventually there's a lot of combat as well, but we're not going to get to that in this particular video. I've got lots of videos about this game because this game was one of my favorites. Both for how it connected me to the rest of the Oculus community, as well as how well I was able to interact with folks even in game. I remember one of the first days I almost had personal property damage in virtual reality was playing this game with PSVR Frank back in the day. I was so immersed in the multiplayer that I nearly punched my television. Funny stuff. So we're going to move into one last game before we exit this video and just look back at the last 10 years of Facebook and Oculus, now part of the MetaQuest brand. So I know this video has been somewhat doom and gloom for some of it as we look at the past that's not there anymore.
With pleasure.
But this is the present. This is Asgard's Wrath 2, a game that's completely built from the ground up for virtual reality, with hundreds of hours of gameplay. We're playing in an Uncharted Rift right now, which is a repeatable quest that essentially can go on forever. And it's on a standalone platform. This is exclusive to the MetaQuest platform. And one of the coolest games I've ever played in virtual reality. It's a full-fledged RPG. All right, level 2 already. Got lots of stuff to collect down here. So there's lots of loot you can collect, lots of things that you can do in this game. And it's giving good hope for what the future may hold for virtual reality. Again, this is a recent title. And one that I've really, really enjoyed playing thus far. I'm going to grab this just in case something happens when I open this chest. There's always a possibility that one of these doors might lead to something terrible. This is the way that we came in. Oh no, this is the way out. Okay, cool. But again, this game's got hundreds of hours of gameplay. And it's just one example of great VR gameplay that's still coming from the MetaQuest platform. And developers are continuing to innovate in the virtual reality space, and now the mixed reality space as well. I'm excited to see where the MetaQuest brand goes, but also where VR as a whole goes in the months and years ahead. Some of those there, that's cool.
Astonishing.
It also helps that this game makes you feel like an actual god. You're playing the role of a cosmic guardian that's got the powers of a god, but it's fantastic. I hope you enjoyed this kind of strange look at the past and the present and the speculative future of virtual reality. Some of it was a little bit more doom and gloom than I expected as I was looking back, but you know, seeing some of my favorite titles just gone doesn't really make me feel happy about certain things that happen in virtual reality.
Legendary.
Nice.
Outstanding.
I want to pick that up. I thought I could pick it up with that. I guess I can't. I'm going to be going to GDC this month, so I'll get to see a little bit more of the future of virtual reality. Some of that will be a hosted by Meta developer summit, which is something I'm really excited to hopefully go to and share some of the information from. But a decade in virtual reality is something folks should be proud of. I've only been around for part of this journey, but I love exploring the history of virtual reality, as well as its present and potential future. I'm expecting to have some form of cool, awesome glasses in the future form factor, so that I can play VR anywhere I want to, at any time. Trying to kill his armor. Oh, we just died on his last little bit of health.
A pity.
Always go Divine Soul.
Leave behind.
It's been a strange video for me, kind of looking back on the things that brought me to where I am today as a content creator in the virtual reality space. For those that are part of the Meta family, recently words have been said that Meta's MetaQuest platform is going to be the most open VR platform. I hope that's the case. I hope that in the future developers can still continue to thrive on this platform, and there can be more openness on what's available on the platform. I'd love to see games like Proton Pulse. I'd love to see games like Gunjack and others not just be available on this platform, but be actively promoted and flourish on the platform. And, you know, I'd love to see a lot more than just games on the MetaQuest platforms. Whether it be training, whether it be education, whether it be any form of shopping. Like, you can do so much with virtual reality. Travel even to places you've never been before. All types of entertainment, 3D video, you name it. Virtual reality empowers so much in the world. And I really hope that the folks at MetaQuest and Meta's Reality Labs keep that focus and keep that openness that they've promised in mind. I'll be back with more content soon. Until next time, get out there and enjoy some VR for yourself. I'm going to go to fist bump some of these folks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now. High five.